The 1960s in America was a time of change. Old attitudes towards race, sex, and politics were being questioned as a new generation arose, determined to remake the world in terms of equality. Fort Lewis College, only freshly removed from its Hesperus campus, was not immune from national trends of protest and dissent. In fact, that great representative of youthful change, John F. Kennedy, spoke on campus in 1960 during the Colorado State Democratic Convention. A new cohort of Native American youth were beginning to stretch their wings as well. Ancient forms of Native culture were reinterpreted as contemporary expressions of tribal pride and identity. On this episode of Fortifact, we'll have a look at the history of an event that represents exactly such mid-century innovation, the Hozhoni Days powwow and pageant.
We celebrate the tradition of Native American education, of the tribes, our pride in everything that we do here at Fort Lewis College.
I think it's great for the community at Fort Lewis, not just the Native American community, but also the non-Native community.
Powwows are somewhat of a modern tradition. If we look back to the 1960s, 70s as this moment when Native people were coming together in large cities to form a community. They were families who had participated in a program called relocation. Now, the relocation program in the 1960s was a voluntary program. It was sponsored by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and essentially it wanted to take Native people, individuals, and families and to give them employment opportunities beyond the reservation. So you would find these huge waves of families leaving their reservations and going to those places like LA and Denver, and their children would grow up in the cities. And so along with the American Indian movement of the 60s, families that at least had half a generation, maybe a decade of living in the cities under their belt, there was this moment of revitalization.
I think for us, powwows were kind of relatively new in the Southwest, or that we weren't all that much aware of it. For me, I was aware of Navajo dances, the ribbon dance, the feather dance, maybe the hoop dance, and other tribes had hoop dances too. And then we have the Ute bear dance, and then your regular powwow dance, and we had some of the other pebble dances that we wanted to see.
Powwows became one vehicle of many in which Native communities in the cities could get together and celebrate, their unique cultural identity. From that moment, powwows became intertribal. The distinctive dance styles, which were particular to each different tribe, became, a blend. Anyone could dance a style that might not have come from their particular community.
As a part of this cultural shift, Native students at Fort Lewis College founded a new student organization called the Shalako Club, which would later be renamed Wanbliota, a Lakota term meaning many eagles. The Shalako Club was popular with students, sponsoring dances and basketball games, but by the late 1960s it had begun to run out of steam. In keeping with the times, the college turned to the voice of youth, specifically an incoming Navajo freshman, Clyde Benally, and asked him to reinvigorate the club.
We wanted the students, our Native students, to get involved. To me and a few others, the best vehicle is something to do with Native Americanness. Of course, the first thing was student participation. And secondly, that we need people to know that we do have cultural values, cultural activities that people can see. The other part of that was we wanted to reach out and draw in the students, the non-native students, to participate with us. We decided that for the first scene, let's have some kind of an Indian day. I keep thinking that I was the one that actually said, let's call it Hozhoni Days. And it's a Hozhon, it means spiritual beauty. And we have a mix of students, and we wanted to tap out, see who can contact somebody from their reservation, and they're willing to come in. We put it together, and we call it a powwow.
The early days of the Hozhoni powwow featured dances that today would be considered primarily ceremonial, as common dances performed by all tribes had not yet evolved. Young native men attending the fort actually danced in coat and tie during Hozhoni as a way of showing that what makes you Indian is in your heart, not your clothes. While the powwow is the most visible part of Hozhoni Days, there's also a competitive pageant that awards the title of Miss Hozhoni to a native woman for a year. In the early days of the event, the pageant crowned both a male brave and a female princess, but has evolved over the years to focus exclusively on women.
Well, my name's Shireen Gonzalez. I'm an English communication major and I'm a sophomore this year.
I'm Mariah Gotchman. I'm from Jemez Pueblo, New Mexico. It's my third year here at the fort. I just added a political science minor and I'm a gender and women's studies major.
Markel Bigay. I am a junior majoring in environmental studies.
My name's Nicole Lovato. I'm Native American Indigenous Studies major and I'm a junior.
Over a 2-week period, the contestants will undergo a series of interviews and demonstrations. Panels of their peers, including royalty from other tribal nations, FLC faculty and staff, and of course the audience, will judge the contestants in displays of modern, traditional talents, traditional food preparations, and a personal essay.
You know, I always thought of pageants as, like the Miss Congeniality is super competitive, everyone kind of hates each other kind of thing, but the Miss Hozhoni pageant is totally different. It's really a sisterhood, and we all become so close over the course of this month that it really feels like we all already won.
The winner and runner-up act as ambassadors for Fort Lewis College, not only to Indian country, but to the rest of the world.
I'm just super excited to be representing officially, I guess, as Miss Hozhoni. Yeah, I think it's still soaking in, actually. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It has definitely given me more confidence, and in a way has made me carry myself differently. Maybe the word is more professionally about who I am and who I represent. And I always had this value of I don't just represent myself, I represent my family and my community. And so to do that on another level, I represent the Native community here at Fort Lewis College, and I also represent Fort Lewis College to the larger community. So there's a lot of layers. It's kind of fun. People are like, oh, Miss Hozhoni or Miss Hozhoni this. I'm like, yeah, that's me. So that part I'll miss, but also the part it's rewarding in the fact that I'll now give the opportunity for somebody else to feel or to change themselves or to have that self-growth, to pass that on to the next person, because it's similar to how Native people have passed on stories, language, traditions, and now this is the chance for me to pass the crown on to the next person and hope that they grow and take that opportunity to feel more confident or to feel excited about who they're going to be representing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
From the beginning, Hozhoni Days was designed to not only be a way of celebrating Native pride, but a powerful tool for cross-cultural understanding. As the powwow moves into its 51st consecutive year, it becomes the longest-running student-led tradition at Fort Lewis College, a beautiful and powerful legacy that was made real by a few visionary students over half a century ago.
A lot of different tribes represented at Fort Lewis College.
I think I've learned that everyone has something to bring to the table.
It just represents, you know, the strong Indigenous women.
As far as college powwows, it's a really good college powwow.
Hopefully when all of this is done, I can be happy and attend many more years of Hozhoni Days.